What happens when nature gets a little unhinged? Not just wild, but full-on chaos, feathers and all. Welcome to Australia, the land where even the birds seem like they escaped a biology experiment. Some laugh like maniacs, some drop out of trees to kick you, and others, they build nests so big you'd think they're trying to summon a forest god. In this countdown, we're diving into the 15 most absolutely unhinged birds of Australia, ranked by just how chaotic, dangerous, or downright ridiculous they are. You'll meet screamers, drummers, mimics, rock stars, and maybe a feathered serial killer or two. And trust me, once you meet number 9, you'll never look at birds the same way again. Ready? Let's go. Let's start with what might be the strangest bird you've never seen, because you've probably looked right at it and thought it was a broken branch. Meet the potu, the bird that decided, you know what? I'm gonna live my life as a haunted tree stump. During the day, it stays perfectly still, perched upright on broken logs or stumps, with its eyes closed and beak slightly open. It doesn't move, doesn't twitch, doesn't blink. It's camouflage so next level that even trained biologists sometimes miss it. But when night falls, things get weird. That lifeless stick suddenly blinks. Its giant eyes open wide, glowing under moonlight like something out of a low-budget horror film. Then it makes the sound, a long, echoing wail that drifts through the jungle like a soul in torment. It's not a hoot, it's not a chirp. It's more like someone yelling "no" into the abyss of their past decisions. If the jungle had ghosts, this would be their opening theme. And get this? It doesn't even build a nest. It just finds a shallow dent on top of a tree stump and lays an egg. That's it. No soft moss, no safety net, just vibes and gravity. Still, it's not just a jungle clown. Those big, googly eyes, they're built for night vision, and when the bugs come out to party, Potu goes full silent assassin, snatching moths midair with sniper precision. In a forest full of loud, colorful show-offs, the Potu is that one eerie friend who shows up in silence, scares everyone, and leaves. It doesn't want your attention. It just wants you to look away so it can watch you. Would you camp near this bird if you didn't know it was a bird? Drop a log in the comments if you totally mistake this creature for a haunted stick. Imagine it's 2 a.m. You're deep in the Australian outback, stars overhead, wind rustling through eucalyptus trees. Then suddenly, you hear it, a high-pitched, blood-curdling scream tearing through the silence. You freeze. Is that a baby crying? A ghost? Someone being murdered? Nope. It's just the Bushstone Curlu, casually announcing its existence like the soundtrack to a horror film no one asked for. This long-legged bird looks like a mashup between an owl and a runway model on stilts. Its feathers are earth-toned, perfect for blending into dry grass and sandy soil. But its real claim to fame is its call, a drawn-out, haunting wail that echoes across the landscape like pure despair. Locals are used to it, but tourists, not so much. There are real 911 calls from confused travelers thinking someone's in danger, only to be told, relax, it's just a bird doing bird things. And it doesn't help that the curlew is nocturnal. You rarely see it during the day. But at night, it's out and about, walking in slow motion, making direct eye contact like it knows what you did last summer. Oh, and get this. During mating season, the screaming intensifies. They'll stand in open fields, facing off like it's an emotional battle royale. No fists, no claws, just dueling banshee wails echoing across the scrub. Despite the melodrama, they're not aggressive. In fact, they're incredibly shy and harmless. But that doesn't stop them from sounding like tortured souls lost in the wilderness. So if you ever find yourself camping in the outback and hear what sounds like a horror movie warming up, don't run. Don't call the cops. Just nod, roll over, and say, yup, classic Australia. If you heard this bird at night without seeing it, what would you think it was? Let us know in the comments, and please, no jump scare stories. Meet the Australian magpie, a bird with two modes, angelic opera singer, and unprovoked aerial assassin. It starts every spring. The weather gets warmer, the trees bloom, and the magpies snap. Because when it's nesting season, these birds go full protect the babies mode, and the rest of us become targets. And by targets, I mean cyclists, postmen, joggers, toddlers, dogs. No one is safe. They swoop from above, claws out, beak aimed for the face like heat-seeking missiles. In fact, Aussies have a name for this annual chaos: swooping season. It's so real that entire interactive swooping maps exist online. People mark attack zones, rate the severity, and leave comments like, "Magpie at 3rd and Banksia, extremely hostile. Avoid at all costs." Yes, like Yelp, but for angry birds. Locals wear anti-magpie helmets with zip ties, cable ties, eyes painted on the back, even spikes. Meanwhile, the magpie just watches, judging, waiting. Because, fun fact, they can remember faces. If you anger one, they'll stalk you for days, sometimes weeks, and then they sing beautifully. Magpies are among the best songbirds on Earth. Their melodies are rich, layered, and haunting. It's the ultimate emotional whiplash, soothing symphony by day, swooping terror by dusk. You love them, you fear them, and no Aussie childhood is complete without being swooped at least once. Drop A if you've ever been chased by a bird or just hope to survive swooping season. The masked lapwing looks like a respectable little bird. Yellow mask, sharp black crown, long legs, basically a bird in formal wear. But don't let the classy outfit fool you. This bird is chaos. If a pigeon is the guy who crashes your picnic, the lapwing is the guy who shows up with a siren and brass knuckles. First off, the scream. It doesn't chirp, tweet, or sing. It screams. A long, shrill, high-pitched siren that cuts through the air like a fire truck stuck in traffic. And it does this constantly. Why? Because the masked lapwing has one job: defend the nest. And it does that with the energy of a caffeinated security guard during Black Friday. These birds nest right out in the open, on lawns, golf courses, school fields, even sidewalks. No trees, no cover, just raw confidence and a willingness to throw hands. And by hands, I mean spurs. Yep, tiny spikes on their wings like bird Wolverine. If screaming doesn't work, they'll dive at you, claws out, ready to stab. Now imagine walking your dog, minding your business, and suddenly a yellow-faced bird comes dive-bombing you like a feathered fighter jet. Welcome to suburban Australia. Some Aussies love them. Some wear helmets just across the street. But everyone agrees. When you hear that high-pitched shriek from above, it's already too late. Drop a cap if you'd rock a lapwing-proof helmet, just to check your mailbox. Imagine walking through the forest and suddenly hearing a chainsaw, or a car alarm, or a camera shutter. You panic, look around, but it's not people, it's a bird. Meet the superb lyrebird, a feathered sound machine that can mimic almost anything it hears. Chainsaws, jackhammers, phones ringing, dogs barking, babies crying, you name it. In fact, they've been recorded copying construction sites with terrifying accuracy. Some even mimic other bird species so well, the real birds get confused. And why do they do this? For love. Male lyrebirds put on performances, singing, dancing, and mixing in crazy sound effects, all to impress females. It's like America's Got Talent, but everyone's wearing feathers. Their tail feathers are shaped like a lyre, hence the name. And when they display them, it's like a peacock and a rock star had a baby. They clear a stage, spread their feathers, and go full audio flex. Some researchers believe they can remember dozens of unique sounds and replay them years later. It's like having a bird with a built-in Spotify playlist that also includes chainsaws and crying babies. And don't even think about sneaking up on one, because if it's heard a camera shutter once, it'll mimic the click every time you raise your phone. Drop a mic if you'd pay to see a bird do a full DJ set using only forest sounds. Meet the noisy miner, a small gray bird with a yellow patch on its face and the energy of a caffeine-fueled toddler with a megaphone. Despite the name, it's not a miner like Gold and Pickaxe. It's from the honey eater family, meaning it drinks nectar, not digs tunnels. But the noisy part, dead accurate. Noisy miners never shut up. They chirp, screech, and yell in a constant stream of high-pitched complaints, like a tiny avian HOA committee. But here's the kicker. They're bullies, straight-up feathered bullies. Noisy miners form gangs, tightly knit family groups that dominate their turf. They chase off bigger birds, including kookaburras and parrots, and sometimes even gang up on possums or small reptiles. It's like the pigeon mafia, and they don't just defend territory, they expand it, pushing out other native species in parks and suburbs. In fact, they've been labeled as an aggressive native overabundant species, a rare bird that's doing too well. They're also hyper-intelligent, great memory, complex vocal communication, and the ability to recognize individual humans. Some scientists have called them ecological bullies in tiny tuxedos. But here's the twist. People secretly love them. Why? Because they're cheeky, bold, and absolutely unbothered by humans. You can sit on a bench and one might land next to you and yell in your face just for fun. They're the tiny bird equivalent of a small dog that thinks it's a lion. Drop a baby bird if you've ever met a bird with main character energy and zero chill. Let's take a break from the small bullies and meet the big boss of Australian birds, the cassowary, a prehistoric, helmet-headed, dagger-footed tank with feathers. Standing up to 6 feet tall and weighing over 130 pounds, the cassowary isn't just the most dangerous bird in Australia, it's often ranked the most dangerous bird on Earth. It's basically a dinosaur that never got the memo. The cassowary lives in dense tropical forests, moving through the underbrush like a stealth tank. It rarely attacks unprovoked. But if you cross the line, it charges, with legs like spring-loaded jackhammers and claws sharp enough to open a watermelon. Their middle toe is armed with a 5-inch dagger claw. One kick can disembowel a predator or a person. There have been real incidents, injuries, hospitalizations, and even one recorded fatality. And unlike other birds that flap and screech, the cassowary just stares, silent, cold, like it's measuring your soul and your sprinting speed. But plot twist, it eats mostly fruit. It's a frugivore, just one that could kick a hole in your chest if it feels threatened. Despite its danger rep, cassowaries play a vital role in rainforest ecosystems, swallowing whole fruits and spreading seeds across huge distances. Without them, some plants couldn't survive. So yes, it's terrifying, but it's also a crucial guardian of the jungle. Respect the cassowary, admire from afar, and maybe carry a banana, just in case. Drop a dino if you think this bird missed its Jurassic casting call. Imagine an owl, but make it weirder. That's the tawny frogmouth, a bird that looks like an old wizard. A grumpy sock puppet and a tree branch had a baby. Despite often being mistaken for an owl, the frogmouth isn't one. It's its own thing. It doesn't hoot, it growls. It doesn't turn its head 270 degrees. It just freezes like a log, and that's its genius. During the day, the tawny frogmouth perches upright, stretches out its body, narrows its eyes, and becomes a stick. Not stick-like. Literally stick. Some are so good at it, people walk right past them without ever knowing. Its feathers are mottled like bark, and it'll even sway slightly in the breeze, as if it's whispering, "I'm just wood, move along." But when night falls, the derp transforms. Its massive, wide beak opens to catch insects midair. It's silent, precise, and strangely majestic, in a sleepy grandpa way. Also the face. Oh, the face. Tawny frogmouths are meme legends. Big googly eyes, wide blank stare, eternal what is life expression. They've gone viral so many times you'd think they manage their own Twitter account. Despite their awkward charm, they're loyal mates and great parents. Both male and female take turns incubating the eggs and raising chicks. So yes, it looks like it's having an existential crisis 24/7. But it's a skilled hunter, a loyal partner, and the undisputed king of camouflage. Drop a witch if you've ever mistaken a stick for something that's blinking at you. What's big, fast, flightless, and once defeated the Australian military? That's right, the emu. A bird so bold, it accidentally starred in a real-life war. Back in 1932, farmers in Western Australia asked the government for help. Why? Emus were invading, tens of thousands of them, trampling crops, damaging fences, unstoppable. So what did the government do? They sent soldiers with machine guns to fight birds. It was called the Great Emu War, and the emus won. They outran the troops, scattered unpredictably, and took 0 casualties. One soldier said, "If we had a military division with the bullet-carrying capacity of these birds, we'd never lose a war again." But don't let the comedy distract you. Emus are no joke. They can sprint up to 50 kilometers per hour, that's 30 miles per hour, leap over fences and swim. Yes, swim. A bird that swims. They're also massive, second only to the ostrich, standing up to 6.2 feet tall. Their legs, thick, muscular, and made for power kicks. And here's the twist. The male does all the parenting. He incubates the eggs for 8 weeks without eating and raises the chicks solo. Dad of the year? Possibly bird of the century. So they can't fly, but they can outrun you, outparent you, and apparently outmaneuver a machine gun. Drop a war if you think the emu deserves its own Netflix war doc. In a forest full of loudmouth birds and screamers, meet the Genang Cockatu. Soft-spoken, stylish, and full of charm. This isn't your typical screeching cockatoo. The male Gengang sports a bright red, floppy mohawk, while the female wears sleek grays with subtle patterns. Think punk rock grandpa dating a minimalist architect. Their call? Not a scream, but a soft, creaky whistle, like someone slowly winding a rusty crank. Oddly soothing. Gengangs live in cooler highland forests, often seen in pairs or small family groups. They're gentle, private, and totally unbothered by the chaos of the bird world. They feed on eucalyptus seeds, berries, and native fruits, like little foraging foodies with feathers. And despite the emo hairstyle, the males are super sweet dads, helping with nesting, feeding chicks, and even babysitting when needed. But here's what makes them truly unique. They've become a symbol of resilience. After the massive bushfires in Australia, Gengangs became a flagship species for recovery, proof that nature can bounce back with enough care. They're also Canberra's official faunal emblem, basically the bird face of the capital city. Unfortunately, they're now listed as endangered due to habitat loss and climate change. So spotting one in the wild today, it's a gift and a reminder that not all beauty comes with volume. Some birds win hearts with a whistle and a fluffy red crest. Drop a hat if you'd vote Gengang for Best Dressed Bird of Australia. If birds had a rave, rainbow lorikeets would be the DJs, the dancers, and the glitter. These birds look like someone let a preschooler loose with a box of crayons. Bright blue heads, neon green wings, orange beaks, yellow collars, red chests. They are walking, flying color explosions. But don't let the cuteness fool you. These birds bring chaos. They're loud. They travel in noisy flocks. And when they show up in your backyard, it's not a visit. It's a full-blown feathered fiesta. Rainbow lorikeets feed on nectar and fruit, and their brush-tipped tongues are specially evolved for licking up flowers like high-speed hummingbirds. But that sugar rush, it makes them extra hyper. They'll chatter, chase, and tumble through trees like kids on candy. They're also insanely social. You'll often see them grooming each other mid-air or squabbling like siblings over a mango slice. And did we mention? They're also little aerial acrobats. They can hover, glide, flip upside down, and land sideways on a branch like it's nothing. Rainbow lorikeets thrive in city suburbs, adapting brilliantly to gardens and balconies. In Australia, they're the unofficial mascot of noisy mornings, right next to coffee machines and garbage trucks. Love them or fear them, you'll never forget them. Drop a rainbow if you've ever been woken up by a rainbow screaming outside your window. When night falls over the Australian bush and the day shift birds go to bed, one tiny owl wakes up, the southern boobook. At just 25 centimeters tall, it's Australia's smallest and most widespread owl, but don't underestimate it. This little guy is the ninja of the night. The name boobook comes from its call, a soft, rhythmic boobook that echoes through the trees like a bedtime lullaby, or a tiny detective asking the forest, "Where were you on the night of the 23rd?" They're silent flyers, thanks to special feathers that muffle sound. That means you won't hear it coming, just feel the hairs rise on your neck. Southern boobooks hunt insects, small mammals, and even tiny reptiles, striking from above with quiet precision, like a mini Batman, but fluffier. They have big yellow eyes that don't just look adorable, they're night vision goggles, fine-tuned for low-light hunting. Add that to their sharp talons and crazy fast reflexes, and you've got a pint-sized predator you don't want to mess with, unless you're a moth. But here's the twist. They're surprisingly chill around humans. Some even roost near houses, calling softly from garden trees. A little ghostly? Maybe. A little magical? Definitely. And while they're not endangered, they do depend on old trees with hollows for nesting. So protecting mature forests means keeping the boobook in our nightscape. Next time you hear that soft double call at dusk, pause and listen. It's nature's most polite night hunter, making its nightly rounds. Drop an owl if you'd let a boobook move into your backyard tree rent-free. Meet the Australian brush turkey, a bird that looks like it was built in a rush, dropped feathers on the way, and decided, good enough. It's not glamorous, not colorful, but it's one of the most unbothered, unstoppable, and unapologetically messy birds in Australia. Brush turkeys don't build nests, they build compost mountains. No joke, the male spends weeks scratching up leaf litter, mulch, and dirt into giant mounds, sometimes over 4 meters wide. Why? Because that's where the ladies lay their eggs. And get this, he checks the mound temperature with his beak, like a walking thermostat. Too hot, he scrapes off material. Too cold, he adds more. Perfect temp? The female drops her eggs and walks off. No bonding, just science. The mound incubates the eggs naturally. The heat of decay does all the work. Meanwhile, Dad keeps adjusting the thermostat 24/7. And the chicks? They hatch fully feathered, eyes open, and walk off into the world without ever meeting their parents. Independent from minute one. But here's the thing, brush turkeys don't care where they build. Bushland, backyard, cemetery, your flower bed. If there's mulch, it's fair game. They'll destroy landscaping like tiny feathered bulldozers. Love them or hate them, you gotta respect the commitment. These birds engineer baby incubators from sticks and dirt, and somehow raise chicks with zero parenting. Drop a bird if you've ever met a bird that acts like it pays rent and does whatever it wants. Blink, and you'll miss it. The spotted pardalog is one of the smallest and most bedazzled birds in Australia. Measuring just 3 to 4 inches long, it's like a living jewel with wings. Tiny body, black feathers sprinkled with white dots, a red rump, and yellow throat. Basically, if a sparkly sticker became a bird. And they don't just look delicate, they live quietly, often unnoticed even in urban parks and gardens. But don't be fooled by the size. These birds are engineers. Instead of building nests in trees, they dig long tunnels into earthen banks or garden slopes, creating hidden nest chambers underground, like feathered miners with design degrees. They usually pair for life, and both parents share nesting duties. Excavating the tunnel, building the soft nest, feeding the chicks. A full team effort. And while they look fancy, they're hardcore workers. Their main diet? Leaf miners, tiny insect larvae that destroy eucalyptus leaves. So yes, this glittery bird is also a pest control specialist. Despite being widespread in some areas, their numbers are declining. Habitat loss, domestic cats, and even backyard landscaping can collapse their nests. They may be shy, but they play a quietly vital role in the ecosystem, keeping trees healthy, controlling pests, and bringing a sprinkle of sparkle to the undergrowth. Next time you see a flash of white dots darting through the trees, take a second look. It might just be the forest's tiniest superhero. Drop a diamond if you're cheering for the underbird. At first, it sounds like someone's losing their mind in the forest. A loud rising cackle, half human, half hyena, echoing through the treetops at dawn. But that's not someone laughing. That's Australia's most iconic bird announcing its presence, like a stand-up comedian with a machete, the laughing Cuckabura. With its stout body, big head, and a grin that looks frozen mid-joke, the Cuckabura isn't just about comic timing. It's a predator. Unlike its kingfisher cousins that dive for fish, this bird hunts on land. And its favorite snack? Snakes. Yep, actual snakes. It perches quietly, watches intently, then swoops down like an Aussie ninja. Once it grabs a snake, it doesn't peck or bite. It slams, repeatedly, against a rock, a tree branch, anything hard enough to knock the fight out of its prey. Add to that its unsettling, maniacal laugh, often at sunrise or sunset, and you've got a bird that feels more like the villain in a jungle horror movie, but is actually beloved across the country. It lives in pairs, often in suburban yards, and is treated like a feathered national treasure, even though it sounds like it's plotting your doom with every sunrise. This bird doesn't just survive, it commands attention, strikes fear in snakes, and makes you question whether nature needed this much personality in one feathered package. Which bird freaked you out more? The ghost-faced potu or the giggling snake hammer of Australia? So there you have it. 15 of the wildest, weirdest, and most wonderfully unhinged birds to ever flap across Australia's skies. From drumming cockatoos to snake-slaying comedians and birds that literally weaponize garbage, this island continent doesn't just have strange creatures, it has strange with style. If one of these birds made you laugh, gasp, or do a double take, drop their name in the comments. Which one would you adopt as your backyard bodyguard? And if you think that was wild, our next video takes us into even stranger skies. Birds of the Amazon ranked by their superpowers. Yeah, it's exactly as crazy as it sounds. Don't forget to like, sub, and ring that little bell, or the magpie might come after you next spring.